Hello ladies and gentlemen, Fishbear here. Today in this video I'd like to share with you the build I created myself specifically for speed farming, reefs and bounties. This is my first and probably the last build guide, so I give it a try anyway. I'm not such a devoted D3 player to experiment with gear and classes, but this time I decided to play around Legacy of Nightmare set and I was really surprised with the results. The reason why I did this because I'm not a big fan of Ratman mages or Pestilence Poison Lancer gameplay while doing reefs. Both sets required attention to my resource abilities, cooldowns, targeting separate enemies and spamming mages each 4 seconds and keep pressing Devour like crazy, unless you use helpers or macro commands that do it all for you. My build is pretty fast and simple. Most of the skills are made for toughness and mobility, while Death Nova will be your primary damage dealer skill. This build is aimed for at least 1k Paragon players who already have some ancient items and of course both of Legacy of Nightmare's rings. Okay, let's get started. We have our Necromancer standing here in town. Here are all our skills and passives. Let's start with our primary skill, Death Nova with the rune Blood Nova. We have 2 important items to make it work. First is Scythe of the Cycle that increases damage for all secondary skills by 400% and 100% with Blood-Tide Blading Cube for each enemy around us within 25 yards. We will come back a little bit later for more details. Since we use Scythe of the Cycle, we obviously need to place Bone Armor skill to our panel. As this build is designed for speed farming, you need movement speed. The more speed you have, the more efficient you are, right? I placed Cold Rune in it to increase movement speed. Moreover, we have Lost Time Phylactery which grants us extra speed once we activate any cold skill, in our case, Bone Armor. This build also has 2 Greaves to maximize our speed after using Blood Rush, roughly getting around 150–200% movement with all buffs including with the Boon of the Hoarder gem, which is great. By the way, you can use any rune you wish in Blood Rush, but I personally prefer Potency for extra armor, which can save you sometimes after you finish your animation, which also synergizes with standalone passive. Frailty is another important skill in this build. This curse will pull all enemies right to your feet thanks to Brick's ring we put in the cube, and as a result your Blood-Tide blade will proc with increased damage. I give preference to Oral Frailty that costs 0 essence, plus it kills everything instantly with less than 15% health. You don't have to press anything and get instantly into action. But in order to increase our aura range, we must maximize secondary gold pickup range in all possible items up to 16 yards or 22 with Rondo's Amulet. Maximum gold range plus Oral Frailty will synergize with our next passive, Spreading Malediction, for extra damage. Next skill is Devour, which is incredibly useful since we use Blood Nova that costs 10% of our health and 20 essence. Some other runes are also viable, but Blood Nova will grant you increased attack range and % damage. So Devour will restore our resource and health in no time with the help of Requiem Chest in Cube and Hexing Pants that increase resource generation and damage while moving. For extra corpses I use Flesh Golem that drops 8 corpses after activation, and it also spawns 1 corpse per second with these Moribund Gloves. Each corpse consumed will also increase our movement speed because of Fueled by Death passive. Keep in mind that if you stand still with Hexing Pants, you will lose generation and damage, so you have to use your skills without stopping for a second. If you prefer stand-still gameplay, you can switch Hexing Pants for more defensive Golem Skin Pants or Swampland Pants from Witch Doctor that must have physical element in it. Here's a small tip for Devour skill. Instead of pressing it like crazy for every corpse, you may use macro, helpers or numlock trick. Just Google how to do so. There are plenty of guides on YouTube from other players. Or you can simply hold Devour pressed with your fingers. Just constantly hold it and forget about the skill. Once you use any of your other skills like Blood Rush, Golem or Nova, your Devour skill will activate just like with numlock trick. If you are struggling to survive a combat, you may switch your belt as well to Gold Wrap or Dainty's belt. But I don't recommend this build for Tournament 13 since your curse that you applied earlier can fall off from enemy and you still will die, especially when you have only single target enemy, like Reef Guardians. As for the other pieces, any shoulders and amulet can be used here. One rule, they must be ancient and have gold range in secondary. The best amulet would be Rondel's Locket for 6 yards range, but it might be extremely hard to find one with crit chance, crit damage and element in it, so it's up to you what to equip. Hellfire amulet is also viable here. For legendary gems, Bane of the Tramp is required as it is close range build. Other gems are optional, but I prefer Bane of the Powerful against elites and bosses, and Hoarder gems for extra gold. If you don't need any gold, you can replace it to Gogok for attack speed, Esoteric or even Gizzard for extra toughness. You may also ask, what about Greater Reefs with this build? Well, this fan build isn't designed for Greater Reefs as I mentioned earlier, but can possibly play around 60-80 Greater Reef max. You will not have any problems with damage if you have lots of mobs around you. One problem is once you spawn a Reef Guardian, you will have hard times to defeat him since it is a single target enemy. Bosses hit hard and may kill you instantly and your damage becomes quite average without surrounding enemies. My Necro is only 1700 Paragon as you can see, and I clear 60-70 Greater Reefs in 2-4 minutes. Of course, this build cannot compete with Wave of Light Monks, but anyway, it is pretty fun, fast and deadly build for farming dead breaths, keys, bounty caches and even noobers. The D3 planner link for this build is in the description below, go check it out. I hope my guide helped you and encouraged you to try it out. Don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions, hit like or dislike if you want, subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you for watching and listening, I'll see you around.
Serve the cycle. I must wait. Do not fear the end. I must wait. You made a fine corpse. I must wait. The night embraces you. The Rift Guardian.
Hello.
I need to go back. You have